Blessed by the best.
I am too. You look
And
mighty beautiful.
well, thank you.
You're very
You look
welcome.
you look awfully handsome.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
Praise the Lord.
Do we want to talk to them or do we want to talk to each other?
Well, we can talk to them.
Oh,
How
okay.
you all doing?
Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? I know that this is a little bit different, but Joe and I thought that we would come on for a few minutes this evening just to talk to each other, to share bits and pieces of our story, and it would be funny because we are funny together. So I really wanted to interview Joe because he has got, I think, a very interesting life. That Joe, you're about to celebrate how many years?
75 years.
75 in March.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who've been around him, you know his story, some of it, but I just thought it would be good for us just to kind of come together and share our story. And I just want to kind of like interview him a little bit about starting out. What about when you went to Vietnam? Can you
That's
tell us a
fine.
little bit about that?
Well, I was drafted in January 1968, and I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I guess, for about 6 weeks.
So how did you feel when you were drafted?
Well, I sort of knew it was coming
Mm-hmm.
because back then, the Vietnam War was going on, and you had to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
After you finished high school, you had to, if you wasn't going to college,
Mm-hmm.
you had to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all that, and before you know it, I was drafted. And I didn't feel nothing really. I just knew I was drafted. I had to go and do what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they took us to Fort Campbell, stayed there for 6 weeks, and
Is
then
that for your basic training?
basic training.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana.
And what was that? Your
That was, that was my AIT. That was for my infantry training.
Mm-hmm.
They train you to fight, to protect yourself in the war, and how to shoot those guns or whatever you need. And
So
and
did you from Fort Polk, Louisiana? Is that when you went to Vietnam after that?
after Fort Polk, Louisiana, we went to Vietnam. Mhm.
Wow, wow.
And when I got over there, I was in the First and 14th Infantry Division, and uh,
I mean, how was that? Because you had never been, I guess, probably out of the country, had you?
not no. I've been
You had been.
I had never been out of the country. It was an experience.
Mhm.
It was an experience. Uh, I didn't. I knew what I had to do because the Holy Spirit had showed me what I had to do. I had to not get in fear. I had to not get in fear because when you get in fear, you'll lose sense of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and when you do that, that's when you'll make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went on and did what I had to do, and I didn't get in fear. I just said if the Lord's will, I make it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did
Mm-hmm.
because He had work for me to do back here.
And you felt that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I felt that, and but it was an experience.
What kind of stuff did you see while you were there?
Well, it was a war, so you know.
I can remember when we first got married, and I would ask you about Vietnam, and you never would talk about it.
Yeah.
You never talked about it.
Well, it's really when I left there, I really wanted to leave it behind me
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it's It was a lot of. It was a lot of.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of deaths and.
Well, you know, we put. You can be walking with a person. He get killed by a sniper or whatever, and then you got to put him on the medevac, and they'll take his body out back to the rear.
Medevac meaning helicopter.
Yeah, it was a helicopter, but it was a medical helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
It had the the Blue Cross, I think, seal on it. But
so Red Cross or something. It had some seal on it, huh?
It had some seal.
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But it had a seal on. You know what it was, cause they call them in when somebody get killed.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was a time in my life that I knew I had to stay focused.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you were there for what was it, a year?
I was there a year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after you left Vietnam, where did you go?
Well, my orders came down wrong. When I left Vietnam, I was supposed to be stationed in the States,
mm-hmm.
but my orders came down for me to go to Germany.
Oh.
And they told me, said, you don't have to go to Germany. We change your orders because you're not supposed to go right into another country after you. And mm-hmm. I told them, no, send me on to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me on to Germany, and so I liked it in Germany.
So how long were you in Germany?
I didn't stay there that long. I was in there about 5 months.
Oh, okay.
And after 5 months, my time was up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So then you were able to come back to the States. I know you were happy.
Yeah, I was able to come back to the States and get out of them.
I know you were ready too.
I was ready after seeing the way people got messed up, and some of them come back, and I had a sound mind, and the Lord had just truly blessed me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just experience
mm-hmm.
that.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you came back. I'm very grateful.
You ain't no grateful than I am.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, after you came back home, and I'm sure you got a job. Is that when you were working at Samsonite? Because you left. You were working at Samsonite when you before you went to Vietnam, right?
Right.
Okay. And then you came back and you were able to get a job back there.
Well, my job I was able to get my own job back.
Okay.
I went there, and somebody else had my job,
mm-hmm.
and
but at least you were able to.
But I was able to get it back.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't as easy as it should have been. I had to go through some things to get my job back. But I got it back.
Well, good. Okay, so I know when you were working at Samsonite, during that time, you and I, we got together. Now I know we had kind of like a little story, because I knew you. My family and your family were close. I know my mom and your sister Linda and Maddie Pearl were close in high school or in school. So I knew you because I remember once, and I'm telling off on you and me. You brought Linda over to see Mama,
mm-hmm.
and they were talking, and we were, and me and my sister and brother, we were playing making mud pies.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I think you was probably like about 16 or 17, maybe. You were probably about 16, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
if you were making mud pies, that means you was a little girl.
I was about 8 years old. I think I was about 8 years old.
You was 8. If you was 8,
because you're almost 8 years older than me. So yeah, we're putting it on blast. We're letting everybody know.
I thought I was 7 years older than you.
7 years, 8 months.
7 years, 8 months.
Is that close enough? But anyway, this is what I was getting around to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We lived in the country. So me and my friends, we were trying to get a ride into the city I knew Joe had a car. So I was going to call him. At the time, he worked in my uncle's barbershop. So I tried to call him, and I didn't get him, but I got my uncle. So my uncle my uncle told Joe, say, "Hey man, said my niece calling you." So so anyway, after that, we ended up.
You was so in other words, you trying to use me.
Well, I didn't think that's what I was really doing.
Yeah, that's what you were doing.
Well, maybe so, but we were just trying to get a ride.
Yeah, it backfired.
We were trying to get a ride.
Yeah, you kept riding.
Well, it was a good backfire.
You didn't want to quit riding.
It was a good backfire. It was a good backfire. So we ended up, after Uncle Thomas told you, we ended up talking because we went to Cherry Grove. So you came over to me and you said, "Hey," you said, "so your uncle told me that you were calling. So what did you want?" So that's when I told you what we were, actually me, Irene, and Janice. Irene's going home to be with the Lord, but we were trying to get a ride. So so anyway, we did. We definitely got together. You invited me out. We went out on our first date.
Yeah. We had a nice time.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Nice time.
We did.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we went out on a few dates.
Yeah, we did. We had some few nice times. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna share this, and we're probably going to have to do like a part tour of this. So after we had gone out on I don't know, for like a couple of months. And you asked me a question. Do you remember what that question was?
Was it, how old were you?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I think I asked you to be my woman.
Yep.
That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And
yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah. So you were.
And I think at the time, how old were you then?
I was
18?
7 at that point in time.
You was 18?
I was 8. Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah.
I was 18.
Because I think I was.
Because I graduated high school when I was 17.
And
in that same year, of course, I was 18.
Because I think I was on my way to being 26.
You were 25. Yeah, you were 25 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were. So, you about to say something?
So, yeah, I was about to say, around about that time, I think that was when my mama was in the hospital, and I brought you up there to the hospital to see her.
Yeah, and we going to we're gonna talk about that on the next time we get together. So anyway, this is Joe and Ann Cross, and we are sharing our story. So we'll see y'all the next time, okay? Good night.